Last night, I posted a video about Muhammad's solution to coronavirus. At 4:59 a.m., YouTube sent me this. Dear Act 17 Apologetics, regarding your account, Act 17 Apologetics, we have received a legal complaint from a government entity regarding your video. After review, the following video, Prophet Muhammad Solves Coronavirus, has been blocked from view on the following YouTube country site, Pakistan. Wow, say what you want about Pakistan, but their government-run censorship squad is top drawer. Just imagine what the Pakistani government could accomplish if, instead of focusing all their energy on censorship and blasphemy laws, they focused on keeping their country from being a misogynistic, animal porn-watching, terrorist breeding ground / haven for pedophiles. We can only imagine. Speaking of blocked videos, here's another one for you, Pakistan. Muhammad promised generous rewards for jihadis who are martyred while slaughtering unbelievers in the name of Allah. Since Muhammad guaranteed paradise to martyrs, many Muslims down through history have become obsessed with seeking martyrdom. Many of the terrorist attacks in our lifetimes were carried out by people who were striving to become martyrs for Muhammad. But there's a safer path to Islamic martyrdom, my friends. Coronavirus. According to Muhammad, if a Muslim dies from coronavirus, he too dies as a martyr. Let's read some sources to see why. Sahih al-Bukhari, 2785. Narrated Abu Huraira, a man came to Allah's messenger and said, "Guide me to such a deed as equals jihad in reward." He replied, "I do not find such a deed." Sahih al-Bukhari, 2787, Muhammad declared, Allah guarantees that he will admit the mujahid, the jihadi, in his cause into paradise if he is killed, otherwise he will return him to his home safely with rewards and war booty. Sahih al-Bukhari, 2795, narrated Anas bin Malik, the Prophet said, nobody who dies and finds good from Allah in the hereafter would wish to come back to this world, even if he were given the whole world and whatever is in it, except the martyr, who, on seeing the superiority of martyrdom, would like to come back to the world and get killed again in Allah's cause. Ever notice that Allah's cause sounds like a lost cause? Sahih al-Bukhari, 2796, narrated Anas, the Prophet said, a single endeavor of fighting in a lost cause in the afternoon or in the forenoon is better than all the world and whatever is in it. Sahih al-Bukhari, 2797, Muhammad proclaimed, by him in whose hands my soul is, I would love to be martyred in a lost cause, and then come back to life and then get martyred, and then come back to life again and then get martyred, and then come back to life again and then get martyred. Martyrdom is the heart, soul, passion, and purpose of a jihadi. Not surprisingly, jihadis have been slaughtering unbelievers in the name of Allah for 14 centuries. But guess what? Martyrdom is much, much simpler than most jihadis realize. Muhammad spent years convincing his followers that dying while slaughtering unbelievers in the name of Allah is the greatest thing in the world. But sometimes Muslims would die from other things like disease. And the mothers and widows of the Muslims who died from disease would come to Muhammad and say, "Oh, my husband Abdullah or my son Abdullah, he really wanted to die while slaughtering unbelievers in the name of Allah, but he died from disease instead." And Muhammad, nice guy that he was, would tell these grieving mothers and widows that their dead sons and husbands were martyrs too. Sahih al-Bukhari, 653. Then the Prophet said, 5 are martyrs, one who dies of a plague, one who dies of an abdominal disease, one who dies of drowning, one who is buried alive and dies, and one who is killed in a lost cause. Sahih al-Bukhari, 720, narrated Abu Huraira, the Prophet said, martyrs are those who die because of drowning, plague, an abdominal disease, or of being buried alive by a falling building. Watch out for those falling buildings. Sahih al-Bukhari, 5732, narrated Anas bin Malik, Allah's messenger said, death from plague is martyrdom for every Muslim. Sahih al-Bukhari, 5733, narrated Abu Huraira, the Prophet said, he, a Muslim, who dies of an abdominal disease is a martyr, and he who dies of plague is a martyr. So, If a Muslim dies from a plague, he's a martyr. Now, as I pointed out in yesterday's video, a plague is a bacterial infection, but Muhammad obviously didn't know the difference between bacterial infections and viral infections, and it would be odd for Allah to say, you died of a viral infection, not a bacterial infection, so I'm afraid you're not a martyr. It seems that according to Muhammad, if there's a mass outbreak of disease and a Muslim dies from it, he's a martyr. This means that Muslims who die from catching coronavirus are martyrs. Why is this important? Well, again, there are lots of Muslims in the world who want to become martyrs. Let me address them directly. To all you aspiring jihadis out there who watch my videos, and I know you watch my videos, I encourage you to abandon your belief in the most obvious false prophet in history. I encourage you to abandon this religion and its calls for violence. The coronavirus is much worse than coronavirus. Get out while you can. But if you're set on becoming a martyr and nothing I can say will change your mind about seeking martyrdom, I encourage you to pursue one of the alternative paths to martyrdom, specifically the paths that don't involve killing the rest of us. I've shown you directly from your prophet that there are other ways to become a martyr. Your prophet said that if you die from drowning, you're a martyr. So, if you're seeking martyrdom and you can't swim, go for a swim. Your prophet said that if you die because a building falls on your head, you're a martyr. So, if you're seeking martyrdom, find a building that's about to be demolished and go play hide and seek there. Your prophet said that if you die from a horrible disease, you're a martyr. So, if you're seeking martyrdom, go to an area that's overrun with coronavirus and start licking everything in sight. After you lick something, be sure to wipe it with hand sanitizer so that no one else licks it, gets coronavirus, and then steals your virgins. Once you've licked and sterilized everything in the city, quarantine yourself in a room with anyone else you know who's determined to become a martyr. And don't seek any kind of treatment. If you're lucky, you'll all become martyrs. But if, for some reason, you survive coronavirus, just swim to the next continent so you can try again. Again, I encourage you to abandon your silly religion, your silly prophet, and his silly teachings. But if you're hell-bent, literally, on becoming a martyr, in other words, if you're already infected with coronavirus, try coronavirus. It's easier than building a bomb and much safer for the rest of us.